right? So let's see what is exactly access packaging scheme in Java. With the help of a paint, we will draw a diagram to understand how packaging works, and then immediately we'll start with coding. So let's say we have a directory, right? So let me create a directory structure. So let's say this is a directory, and this directory is called as, let's call it as pack. This is the directory which have a name called as a pack. Now in this directory, we'll have subdirectories or subfolders. So let me use a bar to indicate sub-packaging and subfolders inside this directory. Now this horizontal lines are indicating the members or tree structure of this pack directory. Assume this horizontal lines are indicating the tree structure of this pack directory, right? So let's say I have a pack directory, and in this pack directory, you have a subfolder. Pack is a folder, a directory, and in this pack folder, you have another subfolder. Let's call this subfolder as, let's say, sub. Oh, fine. So this sub is a directory under pack directory. Also, let's say that we have a class in this pack directory, and this class name is, let's call it as class A. Let me move it a bit left. So we have a class A in the pack folder, and maybe some other stories. Maybe here there is something else. So this space is available, and we can go on add more things inside the directory as per our requirement. So let me use dots for that. Now, as sub is a directory or a folder, again, this can have contents inside it. So let me again use a horizontal and a vertical line to indicate the contents of the subfolder. So let's assume that this vertical line is a bar which will have the contents which are included inside the subfolder. Now let's say inside subfolder, we have one class, and let me name this class as class B. Let me put a title to this, class C. Sir, please record the lecture. Sakshi Ranglani. Okay, Sakshi, I've started recording the lecture, no issues. Are you getting my voice and audio? Everything is clear, right? Yes, okay, great. Fine, great. So now what we have done is the pack is a folder. Under this folder, we have a subfolder and a class called as a class A. In the subfolder, we have another folder, a class called as a class C. So before starting recording, I made only two comments. Let me repeat the comments because those two comments have not come in a recording. What I said is, when we read literature of Java, we come across a word called as a default access. Now, default is not a keyword. Default is not an access modifier. Default means when we do not write any access modifier for an interface for a class, then Java is going to assign one automatically. But there is always an access specifier when we don't assign it or whether we don't assign it. So for an interface, when we are not writing any access modifier, which we are not supposed to write in the case of interface, in that case, automatically everything inside the interface becomes public. On the same ground, when we do not assign any access to the access modifier like a public or a private or a protected, when we do not assign it for a class members, automatically that access is a package level access. So here we are understanding what is a package, right? So up to this point, what we have done is a pack is a folder under which there is a subfolder and one class called as a class A. And subfolder, we have another folder called as a class folder, subfolder. And this subfolder, we have a class file which is called as a class C, right? So when we do not put any access modifiers to these classes and its members, what it means? It means that this class C, this class C, this class C is accessible only by other members of subfolder. This C can be accessed by other members of folder sub. But if you try to access the C class in the A class, if you try to access this, then it's not going to work, right? So class A, if it tries to access class C, and if no access modifier is being utilized, then this access will be denied. Java will omit out an error that it is not possible to access class C in the class A, because a default access for a class member is a package access, and a package level access means the class is accessible only inside the directory. On the similar grounds, this class A is accessible only inside the folder called as pack. If somebody tries to access this class A outside of a pack folder, then it is error. Okay, so that is a package level access. So let's do one thing. Let's immediately try this whole theory that we have discussed in practical way, and then we'll move on with creating packages. Let me check out this contains. Okay, fine. So what we will do is we'll create a directory called as let's create this directory as called as demo. I hope that is not present. Okay, so directory is created. So I'll go inside this demo directory. Now, as per our diagram, what we have to do is we have to this pack is been created as demo, right? So my pack directory, and while performing a practical approach, I am calling this pack folder as a demo folder, right? So inside demo directory, I have to create two things. One is a subfolder and one is a class called as E, right? So I am inside my demo directory. Right now, this directory is empty. So first thing is I'll create a class A. Let me call this class as this file as a.java. Now I'll not put any access modifiers in class, right? I'll just use the public access because here has to access my method, main method. Yes, anybody, somebody's talking, any doubt? You can put it in chat window or you can talk. I heard a voice. Is there any question? Okay. So, wait a minute. So my class A is ready, right? So I'm not doing anything inside this class A, or let's put a simple printf statement, system.out.println, and I'll say the main method of class A. So fine. Now the second thing that we have to create to test this package level accesses, I said that this class A will be accessible to anybody in the folder, and we have done this in earlier lectures, like whenever we have created directory and when we tried to access other .java files and the classes in those .java files, it was possible to access those files. So we have done this in earlier videos also, so I'll not go in that detail. Here our interest is creating a directory, and that directory should have another class file called as class C, and these two classes, class A and class C, shall communicate. So let's continue with that. So I'll create a directory mkdir. Let's call this directory as sub, right? Let's go inside this directory sub. Now in this subdirectory, we are supposed to create something called as a class C. So in the subdirectory, what I'll do is I'll create a notepad file, notepad, and I'll call this as c.java. Sorry, I have done a mistake while creating the file. I have pressed the space, it will create a text file. I don't want a text file, I want a Java file. So now c.java. Now let's create class C is the title. Let's put a demo method. I will not put any access modifier for this method. Let me call this method as demo, right? And then I will put a simple printf statement inside this, and I'll call it as this is demo. So first thing is of visibility, whether class C is visible to class A or not for the compiler, right? So that is the question of visibility. So what we will do is, in the class A, we will try to create object of class C. C object is equal to new, right? Now, what we have achieved is we have created a folder called as a demo. In the demo folder, we have two things, which is a class A, which have a main method, and then a subfolder. Inside subfolder, we have a class C, and this class C have a method called as demo. Now we have created an object of class C in the class A. That's what we have done. Here, we have created object of class C in class A. Now let's first check about visibility, whether this is the subfolder, which have only one file called as c.java. Let me go one directly up. Now in this here, you'll find, okay, a.java is been created as a text file. That is a problem. That is the problem. So let me copy the code. Here you can see that this is a text extension, so it is going to create a problem. So notepad a.java, and there should be a Java file, and let me paste the code. Let me save this. Now I'll have three things in this. Let me deal with a.txt. Okay, fine. Now if you do dir, you will find this is the exact diagram that we have drawn. A sub demo folder in which sub and class A is there. Here you can see that inside the demo folder, we have two things. One is a.java and the folder sub. And inside subfolder, we have c.java. Now, if we try to compile Java C a.java, it will complain that, okay, I have one spelling mistake. Let me correct that first. Not in here. Let me open up a.java file. And in this one, now we will compile again. Let me clear the screen. Java C a.java. So now here you can see that cannot find symbol C, location A. So here C is not visible to the class A because C is in the subfolder. Now subfolder is inside your demo folder, and class A and class A and subfolder at the same level, right? But class A do not have access to the members of directory sub. That is not there. So here packaging in Java comes in picture. Now we have to create something called as a package to make it accessible to the A. Another way to make it accessible is using class path, right? Class path setting. We will dive into class path setting in more details when we'll explore database programming and file handling. So till that point, we will use the solution available using packaging. So we have to declare the subfolder as a package. Let me make diagram a bit more clear. So what we have to do is we have to declare this subfolder as a package, and we have to import this package in class A. So two things we have to now do is, first thing, declare this subfolder as a package. and then import this package into class A. Like we have seen this while creating cloning program. Like we have to import one package while performing a cloning assignment. In the same way, instead of using the standard Java package, in the case of scanner also we used one package, right? System.util. In that case, import java.util package was imported and the scanner class was made available. Here, we want to access class C, which is inside subfolder. So we'll create or we will make sure that this subfolder will be treated as a package. Now, this is the same story used by Java packaging mechanism. When we say import java.util and .star or .scanner, that time scanner class gets available to your program. In the same way, we want to make this class C available to our class A. So we will make sure that this subdirectory will get treated as a package. So for that, we have to make two changes. What are these two changes required? First changes, we have to make this subfolder to act as a package. And this class A has to import this sub package, right? So let's do that. Chat box, I have something, system. Yeah, okay, fine. So, sorry. So what I have to do is, let me minimize this notepad file. Let's come to this a.file. Now we have to go to the c.java file, in which we have our class C. Now what we will do is, we'll declare this class as a member of package called as sub. Now here, point to be noted is, see, our class C is a member of subfolder, and we want this class C to be a member of package called as sub, right? This subfolder must act as a package. So the very first line, remember, this is a very important point. So the very first line in your Java file or in your program, in the case of creating a package, has to be the package line. So the first line in my C.java file will be package and the name of the directory which contains the class. In our case, we have subdirectory which contains the C.class file, sorry, C.java file. So the first line in C.java file has to be package, sub, and semicolon. Now I'll save this file. Now done, we have created a package. Now this class A has to import the package. So the very first line in your a.java file has to be import sub, which is the name of the package, dot, the name of the class, and semicolon. The other alternative style is import sub.star. Sorry. Putting star will import all the classes which are available in the folder sub. And if you use just sub.c, that will import only the class C. It's up to you how you want to do it. Both approaches are correct, right? So as we have only one class, it will be very equivalent of writing star or C. There will be no difference at all. I'll go with the first time, import sub.c. So we have achieved the mechanism of packaging in Java, right? So we have created a package called as sub, which have a class C. Then we registered this class C into the package. We registered this class C into the package by adding a line in the c.java file. The line is package space sub semicolon. It has registered your .java file as a member of package called as sub. What is a package? Ultimately, it's a folder. It's a folder directory. How this directory will be, the members of this directory will be available to your a.java file. We have to import this package. So I write import sub.c, right? So our importing is also done. Now, as the package is successfully created, let's try to compile the program. So I'll write C, let's try to say Java C a.java. I hope you can remember the earlier error. The error was cannot find symbol C. So your program was not able to find C itself. Now let's compile and see what is the error. Now here error has changed. Now the error is not like Earlier, the error was cannot find symbol. I'm very sure that you people are able to find the error. You not to find. You are able to recall the earlier error. The earlier error was cannot find symbol C. Now that error is not here. What is the error? C is not public in sub. Cannot be accessed outside of package. So here I want to highlight this line. Here error is C is not public in sub. Sub is what? Sub is our package, right? And cannot be accessed from outside of package, right? So I am sure that you people got the gravity here. So whenever we are not providing any access modifier, for example, class A, there is no access modifier given. For class C, there is no access modifier given. So that means that these things are accessible only inside a package. And what is a package in terms of Java? Package means that directory which contains the class. So right now, this class C is accessible only inside this package, which is called as sub. So if you write another class in this subfolder called as, let's say this class as D, then you will be able to access this class C from D and vice versa. So C and D will be able to access each other. But as soon as we try to access this C from A, now the error is the class C is accessible only inside a package because we are not specifying any access modifier. We are not specifying any access modifier. When we are not specifying any access modifier, Java applies default access modifier to the user-defined entity or user-defined type. Now we are right now defining a class. So in the case of a class in Java, in the case of a class in Java language, the default access for a class and its member is package, right? Default access to the member of a class is package as well as to the class itself. So I'll take a pause here. If you anyone have a quick, if anyone have a doubt, post it immediately in chat window. I'm looking at the chat window. Otherwise, we'll continue with our discussion. If anyone have a doubt, quickly post it into chat window. Okay, I guess nobody have a doubt. That is a very nice thing. Okay, great. So there is no, I've almost waited for 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds now, half a minute, and nobody have posted anything. So I'll assume that you have got the things. Let's continue with our discussion. Now we have, what we will do is we'll resolve the first problem. We will make this class accessible from anywhere. So I will add access modifier as public to the class C. And then we'll go and we'll try to compile again Java C a.java, right? Java C a.java successfully compiled. Now we will try to run this. You have a.class available inside it, right? So you are having a class file. Let's try to run this A. And the program successfully executed the main method of class A. Now the second thing we will do is we will try to access the method declared by class C. What is the name of the method? Demo. Here we are successfully creating the object. Now let's use this object to call method called as demo, which is in class C. Let's go and look at this packaging scheme, right? So I'm not specifying any access modifier for demo method. So time for a quick poll. So the question is coming to everyone. You will get only 1 minute to answer this question, right? You will get only 1 minute to access this question, answer this question. Uh, so the question is very specific. Question is only for this program. So class A, class C, these are the two files that you have on your screen. And whatever we have learned, whatever we have understood, by looking at this, you have to answer this question. So question is very specific to this scenario. Remember this. So there are only two choices. And time limit is only one. Okay. So poll is available to everyone. I need immediate answers. Great. So I will share the result immediately. You can see that there is no answer from 24 participants, right? There is no reply from 24 participants. As I said earlier, it will be trouble for us to consider this 24 participant as active in the session. So we can't consider this 24 members as a part of the session as there is no participation. Now, this question is like, can we access demo method? And this question is highly dependent on what we have done right now. This is the scenario. And as we all can see that on the screen, 74 participants are saying yes, we can access the demo, and 19 participants are saying we can't access the demo. So those who have answered B, the first person is Ritul. So Ritul, can I get your answer why we can't access? Okay, so yes, I have already got maybe due to network it has not been submitted. Okay, fine. The people who have want to change answer, that is another thing. Miss Ritul, can you post your answer, or you can unmute yourself and tell me why you are saying the answer is no? In fact, I ask all the people who have given the answer as no. The people who have given the answer as yes, no problem, fine. There is a very limited people, 19 people. Only 19 people have given the answer as no. I request all 19 people to post your answer in chat box. Why the answer is no in your terms? There is Omkar, then Nikhil, then Avdut, then Prathamesh, Arbaz, Tushar, Bharat Pipare. You all guys type your answers and post it in chat box. Why you are saying it's no? I need these answers. Method is private, so it should not be accessible. It is from Nikhil. Demo method should be public from like inheritance. In my case, I didn't notice public word before class A, so the answer was B by mistake. So Kshitij Sagari wants to change answer. Sorry, Kshitij Sangar wants to change answer to yes, it is accessible. Fine, no problem. Other people have few answers like uh, private is method is private is the answer by Nikhil, and uh, demo must be public is the answer by Bharat Pipare. Like inheritance, Nikhil is saying again. Any other answers? Okay, so Abdut have given as yes. Sorry, I mentioned your name. Fine, other people. Since default members of a class can be accessed within the package of the class. Who is this? Shubham Jain. So Shubham Jain has used very specific wording. Let me read out the wording. Since default members. So members means what? Default members, okay, fine. So default members of a class can be accessed within the package. This is the wording used by Mr. Shubham, right? So let's wait for the, so the language is strict in, and the method we want to use is not public. Is the answer by Arbaz Jamadar. Fine, Arbaz. Omkar Tadekar. I think, sir, demo method is accessible only for C class and it should be public for accessible outside of a directory. Omkar Tadekar. Fine. So let's see who is right. There's 19 people who have given the answers, and most of these answers are quite relevant. So the people who have posted their answer in they have used a different wording, but they are all trying to say the same thing, right? So let's check. Let's practically check, and then we will open up another pool in which I'll ask for a solution. So before opening up the another pool, let's immediately try to execute the program. So first of all, I will save the a.java file, and then immediately we will try to save c.java file. So Java C. Remember, guys, the change that we made is now we are trying to call the demo method. Earlier, when the program compiled, that time we were not trying to call demo method. Now we are trying to call demo method from class C. And before even that, the C was not made public. So how the hierarchy started, we first changes that we done is we created a package, we imported a package. Second change we did is we made class C as public. Now, third change is we are trying to access the demo method. This is how the session has proceeded so far, right? So now, as the both files are saved, let's try to compile Java C a.java. And here we have something error. Error says demo is not public in C, cannot be accessed from outside of a package. So here, only point I want to stress for Nikhil Juga is your answer is damn correct, but the word you used while specifying this, so it is by default private. So it is somehow C++ is again coming in your head. So it is Java. Your answer is pinpointedly correct if you are talking about OOP only, because your answer is aligning very much with C++. But in the case of Java, it's not correct. Why? Because this demo method can be accessed by other members of this package. So if let's say we have a class D, as I said, so this D class will be able to call this demo method. Why it is able to call this demo method? Because this demo method will be accessible inside the package, which is the folder, right? So your answer is correct, but instead of saying it is a private, now we have to use word called as package. So that's why Java says that class have a default access. So remember, guys, it's not 100% true that class have a default access. It's true. But what is the deep meaning of it? When we do not specify any access modifier for a class, that time default access is package for a class. In the same way, interface also have a default access, and we are not specifying it. In the case of an interface, the default access is a public. Remember this always. Now let's open up a poll. And I need, okay, now the error have given you solution, so I will not go in that poll. So how I can solve this? I can make this demo method public, right? So let me make this demo method public, save this, and let's try to recompile Java C. Now it compiled. Now I have to say Java and A, and we will see that demo method will also get executed. The main method of class A, this is demo. Fine. So the both methods are executed. If anyone have a doubt, post it in the chat window. Meantime, I'll continue with the session. Later, I'll come to the doubt, and if we required, I will answer it. Now, this is one level packaging scheme, right? This is one level packaging scheme. What if we extend the packaging scheme and says that says that this subfolder have another folder inside it. This subfolder have another folder inside it. Let's create the subfolder and let's call this folder as sub1. So we have folder inside a folder. So sub1 is again a folder, and in the subfolder, again you have a class. Let's put a class. Let's put a class in this subfolder. Let me use this rectangular, and I'm going to call this as, let's say, class D. Class D is inside sub1 folder. Now we want to access this class D, class C. I have made a mistake while writing. It is D, but somehow it looked like. Let me write here. So assume this is class D. Now what we want to do is we want to access this class D. We want to access this class D from class A. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to do, right? So I want a quick answer in the chat box if somebody can tell me what changed. Now let's take a step-by-step approach. Let's take a step-by-step approach. I just want, this is a class D, means it is going to have a file called as d.java. There will be a file called as d.java, right? So in chat box, immediately, I need answers. What will be the first line in the d.java file? What should be the first line of d.java file? Come on, quick answers. Fine, Aditya have given the answer. Any other answers? Omkar Tadekar have given answer. Sub one. Okay, what about other people? I need answer from everyone. I need at least a substantial number of answers to understand what you people think. Okay. Okay. So I see many answers. I see here many answers from you people. Package substar. That is a very nice answer by Tanuja. Okay, fine. Great. So first of all, about this poll, I think I closed the poll. No issue. Or it is available. It is available. This 74 people tried to give an answer. I congratulate these 74 people also because they applied the thinking and then they thought that this is going to work. And I really congratulate these 19 people who focusedly listened and said that this is not going to work, because I used one term again and again saying that package is an access modifier for every member of a class if we are not specifying, as well as for a class, right? So this is what I see, and this 19 people captured that line and I have given the answer. Now, 1 minute, let me share another thing. Whether we want to write sub or package sub or sub.sub1 inside the class D file, right? So let's start with it. Why to let's immediately do it practically. Let me go inside subfolder and let me make another subfolder called as sub1. right? So sub1 folder is ready. Now let's go inside sub1 folder and create file called as d.java, right? So it is very sure that we have to make this class public class D. I'm very sure why you people know that. You people are sure that why this class has to be public, right? And let me put a method public void. Let's call this method as does, public void does, and let me put a printf statement inside this method. Okay, fine. So now I'm very sure that nobody have a question why I'm making this method as public and why I'm making the class as public. Now the real question that we were answering was like saying sorry package, whether to write sub1 as the D is inside sub1 or whether to write package sub.sub1. So let me save this. This was the question and we have many answers. Now let's answer this. So I guess both of you are correct. Both of you are correct in your thinking. So neither sub1 package sub1 is the wrong answer. Neither package sub1 sub.sub1 is the wrong answer. Let me explain why I'm saying both answers are correct. If you write this line in our diagram, if you write the first line that we have highlighted in the notepad, then this class D can be accessed only by class C. Let me use a different color to represent this. Now the line highlighted by me is package sub1. If we do it, making this line makes class D accessible by only C. But so this is fine that your class will be registered as a package member of sub1. But what we really want to do is we want to access this class D in class A. And what is the hierarchy for class A to reach class D? The hierarchy for class A to reach class D is it has to go inside this subfolder, right? It has to go inside this subfolder. From subfolder, it has to go to the sub1 folder. And from sub1 folder, it can reach to class B. That is how the class A can reach to your class D. So that is how it can reach. It cannot directly reach the class. So for class A to reach class D, it has to go to the sub1. Sorry, sub. From sub1, it has to go to sub. I made again speaking mistake. Class A has to go to sub. From sub, it has to go to sub1. And from sub1, it can reach to class D. For that purpose, what is our aim? Our aim is not to access class D in class C. Our aim is to access this class D in class A. Now, to make this accessible, we have two approaches. By writing sub1, you can access class D in class C, but that is not our aim. The first line is not going to serve the purpose, but it is right or wrong? It is right if we want to access this class D in class C. What is our purpose? We want to access this class D in class A. So you have to go to the sub, and then from sub, you have to go to the sub1, and then you can access class D. The second line is most appropriate line to access this class D in class A, right? So I'll delete this one. So here is the answer. Sure. Now, again, the new question for everyone. And again, I need answers in chat box. Now we have three things. This is class D, this is class C, and this is class A. We have three things with us. Right. Now in chat box, again, I need quick answers. What will be the second line in the class A? First line, we can't remove it. We need to access it for the class C. What should be the second line in a.java file? Immediate answers in chat box. Import sub.sub1.d. Okay, is that answer by Aditya? Anything else? star Priyanka. Sorry, it's defined. So I like this. So far, there are only 4 responses. Immediately quick, everyone. I need to know answer, right? So see how much unanimity is coming in your answer. That most of the answers, not most, all the answers are correct. You can either put a star symbol or you can either put a D symbol. So now you people know how to create a package. Let me immediately write the line import sub1 dot star will import all the classes and D will import the specific class. Now let's say D's object D obj is equal to new D, and let's say D obj dot this is the method name that is inside class D. And let's compile. So sorry, I'm inside sub1 folder. Let me close the chat box. I'm going to come in recording. So cd dot, and I'm inside demo Java C. Sorry, a.java is the home file. So Java file is compiled. Then I'm going to run the program a dot, and you can see that the main method of class A, this is the demo, and this is this method. So you have achieved the packaging mechanism. Any doubts? If anyone have a doubt, you can raise the hand. Anyone have a doubt? If you have a doubt, raise the hand. Great. Nobody have a doubt. Nobody have a doubt. So it's nice that I assume that you have got the concept. Now, this is how we deliver our program to the client from the command prompt. It's how it looks, right? It's how it looks. Now let me show you the directory structure. Let me go to the E drive and then into that my software projects, and then my Java was the directory, and in that I guess demo, right? So this is the directory structure. We have a demo folder. In the demo folder, we have a.java. This is our Java file, right? Here you can see it's a Java file. Inside the subfolder, we have c.java file. And inside sub1 folder, we have d.java file. And remember, guys, not nobody. I'm sure you catched one thing in the execution. The thing that to be catched is I haven't compiled subdirectory programs independently. What I mean, let me remove star.class file. Sorry, it's not RM, it's del delete star.class file. Let me go inside subfolder and again delete star.class file. Let me go inside sub1, again delete class file. So here, let's see. So I have only a.java file. I have only c.java file. I have only d.java file. And I'm not compiling all the Java files independently. I'm just compiling my a.java file. Compiling a.java file automatically compiling all the subpackage members, right? So the theory or the story that we learned in very early lectures, like your compiler will always try to see for dot class file. If it do not find that, it will it will always try to look for a dot Java file. If it do not find that, it will look for dot class file. Otherwise, it will look for that file inside the same notepad file, right? So if your class is present in the same dot Java file, it will compile it. Else, the compiler will look for dot class file. If else not found, it will look for dot Java file, and it will automatically compile them. So that entire story is applicable in the case of packaging also. Now to verify, what I will do is, I will delete this Java file from sub1. I will delete this c.java file from subfolder. Now I have a.java file. I'll delete this a.class file. So see, now the scenario has changed. How the scenario has changed? Subfolder contains only c.class file. Sub1 contains only d.class file. and my demo, which is the parent directory, contains only a.java file. Now we will try to compile javac a.java and the compiles, right? And now we can execute java a. This works. Why? Because now compiler is failing to find .java file, but it is succeeding in finding .class file. So that compilation story that we have seen in the very early lectures is still applicable as it is, even if we are working with packaging. Fine. And this is what we deliver to the client. This is package, and we deliver package to the client as an application. Any doubt till the point? Oh, there is something in the chat window. Okay, that was an answer by Aditya. Fine, modified answer by Aditya. Any doubt till the point? So there will be immediately a question in the poll. A poll is opening up. Let me see this poll result. Today is 4th CP1. I should save it. One. Fine. So the new question is going to come to you. Lecture. बोला की बरोबर, no problem. 378. 12 years. We take 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute to write a question, to complete the question. When we don't specify this modifier for class. Okay, fine. One, okay. So the question is open. Quick answers. So the poll has come. The question was, when we do not specify access modifier for class, what will be the access for class and its members? So many people have given the answer as A. 40 people have given the answer as A. Right? And what is the answer? A means default. Default means what, guys? What do you mean by default? And many people have given the answer as B. 30 people have given the answer as B, and 12 people have still given the answer as C, and 9 people have given the answer as C. So many people have got the wrong answer. So I'll bank on A and B, both answers. But if you ask me what is the pinpointed answer, the answer is package. This is what we were discussing throughout the session. So 30 people have got the very right answer, that default access, when we do not specify anything, the default access is package. So this 30 people get full marks for this poll. The people who have said the default access, as I was saying again and again, default means when we do not specify any access modifier, that access modifier is called as a default. For class, it is a package. For interface, it is public, right? The people who have given the answer as private come out of a C++. It's not C++, it's Java. It has some different access modifier scheme. And we have spent a lot of time discussing that in this lecture. And the people who gave the answer as public, I guess you were not even worked, or you haven't read the questions carefully, or either you have not attended the session, you have just given the poll. And the no answer still 13 people. Fine. So it is 11 has already been there. So time is up. If possible, I'll announce another session. Otherwise, tomorrow we have a session. In tomorrow's session, we are going to discuss about how to create a jar file, which is the next inline thing that we have to discuss with the package. Assignment will roll out on packaging. Also, I'm going to create one hour session for lab to discuss assignments. And if you have any query regarding, like I've received many chats from the student of different kind of questions they have regarding the assignment. So I'm going to create a practical session for Java or the APL, in which I will take your questions regarding our assignments. So we're going to have that session also. So if possible, I will announce the session at least an hour earlier today. If it is possible, we'll learn jar thing in that. Otherwise, tomorrow in our regular session, we'll meet again and we'll discuss jar. So guys, let's see you tomorrow. You can leave the meeting, no problem.